This may sound obvious, but we have built an entire culture around avoiding that obvious truth. We tell students that every problem is caused by somebody else. If they are behind, it's the school's fault. If they don't understand the assignment, it's the teacher's fault. If they don't turn in the work, it's because they were stressed. If they fail the test, it's because the test was unfair. If they're late, somebody else did not wake them up. If they're disrespectful, somebody else made them angry. If they disrupt the classroom, someone else pushed their buttons. There's always an explanation. There's always an excuse. There's always someone else's who's supposed to be blamed. And this is what we teach children, that nothing is ever their responsibility. We're not helping them. We're crippling them. The truth is that education is an opportunity, but it's also work. You got to show up. You got to listen. You got to read even when you'd rather be on your phone or doing anything else. You have to study when nobody is standing over you. You have to ask questions when you don't understand. You have to do the assignment, not just complain about the assignment. You have to learn how to take correction without falling apart. You have to learn how to hear the words. That is not good enough, and decide that next time you're going to do better. That's not cruelty. That's how people become capable adults. Now, every student needs to hear this. Your teacher can explain the lesson, but your teacher cannot learn it for you. Your mom can remind you about your homework, but she can't make your brain focus. Your dad can take the phone away, but he can't make you care about the grade you earned. Your school can offer tutoring, library books, computers, extra help, sports, music, clubs, and teachers who stay late trying to give you another chance. But none of that matters unless you decide that you're going to sit there, refuse the work, reject the help, and blame the world for the result. There are children in America who would give almost anything for the opportunities that too many students take for granted. There are children who walk miles to get to school. There are children who study by candlelight because the power is unreliable. There are children who understand that education may be the only bridge between the life they were born into and the life they hope to build. And here in the United States of America, with public schools, school choice options, libraries, internet access, teachers, buses, breakfast programs, after-school programs, lunch programs, have more resources than generations before could have ever friggin' imagined. Too many students are deciding that school is just something they are forced to endure. No. School's a tool. Education is a tool. Knowledge is a tool. And the student who learns to use it has a better chance of controlling his or her own future. That doesn't mean that every student has to go to a four-year university. Doesn't mean that. We need young people to become welders and electricians and plumbers and truck drivers and mechanics and entrepreneurs and nurses and technicians, soldiers, police officers, small business owners, pastors, artists, teachers, and parents. Do you get all that? Just redo the video. Let's rewind it. America needs all of those people, but every path requires something that the culture has stopped emphasizing. Discipline. You must learn how to be on time and how to keep your word and how to finish what you start. You gotta learn how to read instructions and solve problems and take corrections and respect other people's time. That preparation begins at school. It begins with the small things that students often dismiss as unimportant. Get up when you're supposed to get up. Get to class on time. Bring what you need. Don't wait until the night before the project is due and then act surprised when you're overwhelmed. Don't spend hours or 3 or 4 hours on TikTok, Instagram, and video games or group chats and then announce that there was no time for homework. There was time. You made a choice. And one of the most important things a young person can learn is that choices do indeed have consequences. We have confused convenience with freedom. A student may say, "It is my choice not to study." Yes, it is. But it's also your consequences when you don't pass. Freedom does not mean you get to do whatever you want and then hand somebody else the bill. Freedom means you have the right to make choices, along with the responsibility to live with those choices and what they produce. It is not true. That's true in school, and it's true in a job and in a marriage and in money and citizenship and in life. And students need to understand something else. Your grade is not your identity, but your habits will become part of your identity. A bad grade doesn't mean that you're stupid. It does not mean your future is over. It doesn't mean that you can't recover, but a pattern of making excuses, quitting early, lying about missing work, blaming the teacher, and refusing help will follow you long after the report card is gone. Now, the good news is that the opposite is also true. A student who decides to show up, ask for help, work harder, take responsibility, keep going, can change the direction of their life. I've been a teacher. I've worked with young people for a long time. I can tell you that students who succeed are not always the smartest students in the room. And they're not always the most naturally talented students in the room. Sometimes the student who gets ahead is the student who simply refuses to give up. The student who practices when nobody is watching. The student who takes the paper home and does it again. The student who says, "I don't understand this yet," instead of saying, "I can't do it." By the way, one of the things in my studio is you may not say, "I can't," or I don't know how. You may say, "I can't yet," or "I don't know how yet," but you can't quit, because that one word matters. You may not understand it yet. You may not be good at it yet. You may not have a confidence yet, but you can develop those things through effort. And there's no shame in needing help. There's no shame in asking a teacher to explain something one more time. There isn't any shame in staying after school for tutoring, going to a parent, finding a study partner, opening a book that is harder than the one that you wanted to read. The shame is in pretending that you don't care because you're afraid to try. Too many young people have been taught that it is somehow cooler to act bored than to act interested. Cooler to fail on purpose than to risk trying and coming up short. Cooler to mock the student who raises a hand than to become a student who raises a hand. That's a lie. There's nothing cool about being ignorant on purpose. There's nothing strong about making yourself smaller so other people will accept you. There is nothing rebellious about wasting the opportunity that millions of people around the world would gladly take. Real strength is deciding that you are going to improve yourself even when the people around you are satisfied with mediocrity. Real independence is learning enough, working hard enough, and developing enough character so that you do not have to spend your life depending on someone else to rescue your butt from every poor decision. Now let me speak to you straight up, kids. Okay. If you're one of the people who are disruptive in class, you may think you're just having fun. You may think that you're just entertaining your friends. You may think that the teacher is your enemy and school is a joke. But every single time you disrupt that classroom, you are stealing from somebody else. You didn't think of it like that, did you? You are stealing time from the student who wants to learn. You're stealing attention from the students who need help. You're stealing peace from the teacher who came there to do a job. You're stealing from yourself, ultimately. because you are building habits that will not serve you anywhere good. One day, you're going to be sitting in a job interview somewhere. And one day, you're going to be responsible for paying bills. And one day, you may have a spouse or children depending on you. One day, your mom and dad are going to die. And the world will not stop because you weren't ready. The habits you form right now will either prepare you for that day or make it super hard for you. That's why adults who care about you, the adults who really care about you, set standards. That's why teachers correct you. That's why your parents took your phone. Make you do your homework. Make you go to bed. Make you go to school and tell you no sometimes. They're not trying to make your life miserable. They're trying to help you build a life that's not miserable. Now, schools have responsibilities too. Schools should be safe, and they should be orderly. Teachers should be allowed to teach. Students should not be subjected to political games, ideological nonsense, and lowered standards disguised as compassion. Parents deserve transparency. Taxpayers deserve results. Discipline has got to return. But even the best schools in the world cannot force a student to become serious about his own future. As at some point, the young person has to look in the mirror and decide, this is my life. This is my choice. This is my education. I will not throw it away. That is the message young people need right this very moment. You don't have to come from a perfect home to make better choices. You don't have to have wealthy parents to read a book. You don't have to be the most talented person in the room to work harder than the person next to you. And you don't have to wait for someone to hand you confidence before you begin building it. Start where you are. Use what you have. And ask for help when you need it. And then do the work. Your future is not just something that happens to you. It's something that you build. Choice by choice. Habit by habit. Day by day. Your parents can help you. Your teachers can guide you. Your community can support you, but nobody can take responsibility for your education except you. No one can learn for you. No one can develop your character for you. No one can make you decide that your life is worth the effort. That's your decision.